Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll share. Although we can do the exercise of not finding the self, and we keep convincing ourselves, okay, it's not there, it's not there, I still am haunted by a belief that there is a self. I just can't find it. So I keep looking. I don't give up looking. I haven't come to that state where I believe there is no self. I believe intellectually in what we talk about, but then I think I don't really believe it in my heart. When I look for myself and I don't find it, I still think, oh, I'm not looking hard enough. It's somewhere I haven't looked yet.
Okay.
Geshe, I feel like there's this whole collection of things that I'm trying to hold on to. My body, my life, my possessions, and I can't really control it. There feels like there's an I, but the I cannot hold on to everything. And so that's kind of where I said the I wants to hold on to everything, and yet I don't feel any sense of control at all.
Oh, okay. That's good thought. Okay, so thank you that you're sharing thought of your reflection. Okay, so again here have to be very clear to explain between two I which is exists, I which is not exists. Okay, whenever you are reflecting on I, always think that selflessness means we are not rejecting every single self. There should be some self exists, and then self which is not exists. So there are two kinds of I. Okay. Please remember whenever you are reflecting on self. Right? So usually easy way to try to explain that your idea of self is not exists. In general, whenever you're not thinking self, or let's say it's a simple way that I'm eating, I'm drinking, I try to enlighten it. This kind of a simple I, where okay, when you're not attention, or when you are not observing an I, that kind of I is general exists. But when you reflect it and then try to identifying I, it's not exist. So therefore, last time I asked you to reflect on what your idea of I, right? What your, then most of you say soul or collections, as these are the very good. So that's definitely, I think, your idea of I. That's the way we have to find it out, because all the textbook and master keep teaching us to find it out, keep teaching us selflessness and emptiness, but we always difficult to understand it because we are not really finding that how I think it, because this is the usually the cause of all suffering in my daily life. How I identify I, that's definitely important to find it out without relying on any text. You pretending that you have never heard any philosophy. You never reflected on any I. and then think it how I identifying myself, I. So that's very good way to analyze. And however, when you found the I through by analyze your own way, your own thought, that's some help, because this is the most causing us problem in our daily life, right? Suffering. So therefore, we usually say once you understand selflessness, then you will have less angry, no attachment. That's usually we said it. But if you totally rely on textbook word by word and then never meditate or never reflecting on natural way, also more reflecting on based on only, actually we have to reflect based on the textbook, but only you are reflecting based on textbook, that's not help. Then it's not help means it cannot reduce angry and all this negative emotion and so on and so on, right? So therefore, so now, okay, again, one more time repeating, there are two different I's. And when we talk about selflessness, self, which is my own idea, self, that does not exist. That's the negation of object of negation. And that's the we have to refuse. That's the wrong view, right? So, and then every single thinking I is not necessary, it's a wrong view. The wrong view I is only when you reflect on that, you're finding some kind of separating from body and mind, who is controlling body and mind, right? That's the usually we, this thought, it's every sentient beings, even insect, animal being do have that thought. That's the we have to find it out. Nature means, your thought means which thought, which identifying I is having every single being, include animal being. Even animal being have that kind of thought, that independent I. Why we say independent I? Because it's not dependent on body, it's not depending on mind, it's nothing dependent on any part. So when you careful think, you will find it that I is some kind of owner of all this part of body and mind. Owner, who's using it, who's enjoying it. Don't you think that? Right? Who's using body and mind, who's enjoying body and mind. It's completely some way. That's I remember the very long time ago, we talked one time again, selflessness, and Bill Ryan, he always said, oh, I found self is here, it's here. I really admiring his thought is he really think his own natural way. Nothing in any from textbook. I is here means what I assuming thinking is that I is somewhere which is controlling this body and mind, which is using this body and mind. That's his thought. That's the general we thought. We thinking I is independent means that. Right? We're thinking I is independent. Do you clear? Okay. I independent because controlling this body and mind means usually what things to control and who controlling is always different, right? Isn't it? Right? What things is control and who is controlling. These two is totally different. Now, I is we think who is controlling, and body and mind, whatever we have here, this is which object should control by I. That's how we think actually. That's therefore, whether how much you're learning emptiness or selflessness, still you think your I is independent, then it's not help. Okay. So therefore, before I is not independent, like understanding is not independent, we must understand how I thinking I is independent. True existence independently exists. Therefore, soul thinking, because I should be separate than body and mind, I should be separate in everything which we have here, because it's what I'm thinking I is controlling it, using it, enjoying it, the body and mind. Therefore, something should be separate than body and mind. That's the many of them thinking is soul. Right? The soul is not the mind, soul is not the body, soul is not the part of any single things that what I have here right now. That's not how we think, right? Okay. So so that's actually we have to understand what the object should be negated. Again, I don't think still you get it inside from you or naturally. Maybe intellectually you might understand because they'll try to explain it. But really you are thinking this, the independent I or not. That's you have to rethink it. You have to think back again, find it out your own experience, through by your own experience. Natural way. This is how we need to find it out, the object of negation. Okay. Based on understand there are two different eyes, right? So based on understand that we are not negating every single self. Some self, some I should be exists. But what is not exists? How I identify the I. Therefore, you must know that how I identifying it. What's going wrong with my identifying I? Why is wrong view? Right? If we directly pointing you do have a wrong view, no one accept it. Be careful, think and reflect it, you will find it out. Right? Then you have to accept it. That wrong view on I. So wrong view and right view. Right? So, okay. It is clear? Everyone clear, right? Oh, okay. Okay.
I think we're getting there, Geshe. I don't know that we're clear.
It's great. Yeah, it's great. Okay. So then I try to explain how it's negate how we should reject it or remove this thought or negate it through by the logic. So that's I'm going to talk. But still, After that, I'm suggesting again, you might think again on how I think I is independent, how I identifying I, why it's saying wrong view, you know. So that's do it again many times. So that's usually said. If you want to remove something, if you want to like cast off something, then you must know what you're going to removing, what you're going to negating. That's important part, right? And Madhyamika, the Chandrakirti, said in his textbook, someone is scary and then snake is in my room. And then someone came and said, oh, don't worry, there are no elephants. Is this help to free from their fear? So they have a fear to snake. It's in my room, right? And someone tried to help saying, don't worry, there are no elephants. So definitely it's not help to free from their fear. So we have to clearly show them there are no snake in the room. Until then, the fear is remaining. Whatever you try to explain, fear is remaining. So exactly snake that is not in the room, they will be relaxed. That makes them relax, right? Release their scare things. So same way, if you want to remove I, self, which is wrong view, then you must find it out exactly what is wrong view. Then you can easily remove it, right?
Geshe, are you taking questions now?
Yeah, one sec, then I will take it. So, so therefore, it's important to find it out exactly what you are negating, right? So, and it's saying, so if you're looking for the thief, someone stole from your things, then until you find it out, the person, location, everything clearly, you will not satisfy, right? Once you find it out exactly where it is, then you can do so many things. You can inform the police, you can do, oh, this is there, you caught it and put in the jails, all these things you can do after you know clearly where is it. Generally, you know, yes, someone stole my things, but who is, where it is, you don't know. So looking, reflecting your own wrong view of I is same as like you're looking, where's the thief? Who is the thief? Which I have to caught it up, like caught up, catch, yeah. So that's the, once you found the exactly thief, then easy, right? So that's the example for why we have to reflecting on how I'm thinking I, or how I identifying myself and I, or wrong view. Okay. So what's your question?
I was wondering, and this might be an elephant question, but you know, the view of I as separate, is that also related to the concept of interconnectivity and partless particles? So in other words, we shouldn't think of ourselves independently of all other things and beings and the planet, but as part of one whole? Is this
No.
part of the selfless self, the non-I, or no?
It's still, if you think the part of whole, this
Yeah.
is wrong view.
Okay.
This is the same wrong view.
So I'm not anywhere near this then. Okay, I just checking in. Thank you.
Okay.
Geshe-la,
Yeah.
I, um, I came up with this long list of who I am, which was all about, things I do and, whatever it is, feeding the birds and the squirrels, I do good things, I do some not so good things, all these things that I do. And then I started to think more about what you wanted us to think about. And, I came up with that there's this functional I, but there's not a real I, because we're always changing. We've never been the same, we're constantly changing. So how could there be a real I? That's what I sort of was thinking. I was thinking about how I'm aging and all that stuff. I didn't want to do that, but it's happening. And, there's nothing that can stop that from happening,
Okay. Okay.
And that's part of the I.
Oh, okay. So it is true that many of them thinking impermanent for understanding wrong view. Somehow it's help, but it's change. Which part of change at the moment, like a change to here to there, that moment of changing is still we think it's true existence. Yes, generally it's big change here to there, big change that we see, okay, this changing up to here, therefore it's not always remaining as the same things. That's true. But which part is changing goes to here to there? You have to reflect on again on that. Who is changing? That changing part is not continually I. If the changing part is continuous I, then still you might have a wrong view, or you are not exactly identified the I. So, so in generally, the roughly, or as you say, the gross things that, yes, that we understand, it's not always as the same. Your reason is changing means not always as the same. Therefore, self is not independent. If you think that somehow it's worked, but still there I, who is changing, or at the moment when to change to, like say, change to, at the moment which is present, the present moment of I, the present moment, that how you identify it. The present moment, if you think independent or not. That's how we need to think again. Yeah. So, however, here, instead of thinking selflessness, right? So very important, find it out which self is less. So without understanding which self we should negate it, then you cannot think selflessness. Yeah, we have many instructions saying, yeah, you don't have to really think that which object should negate it. This is actually the means Lama Tsongkhapa's idea, to find it out, the object we should negate it the first, in order to understand selflessness. Instead of directly meditating on selflessness, more reflecting on self which is lessness. That's the, and many of them saying, oh, not necessary, you can directly, but it's depend on you. It's really help you to your day by day reducing all these afflictions. That's fine then. It's not help you day by day reducing your afflictions, then it's not worked. Because the teaching, both teaching are like occurred, right? But it's depend on what disciple, what the person, what the capacity. Then you have to find out what my capacity. I have to go through by directly think selflessness, or first reflecting on which self should be less, right? Reflecting on self, only the self, finding out only the self which is should be negated. What are you going to do it, right? That's the depend on it. There are two different instructions. And as also the required that for beginner, it's good to find it out that which object of negating, the which self are negating. So this is very much depend on your naturally thought, your natural way to think. Because this thought, even animal habits, then animal cannot use their philosophy, right, to find it out how they think themselves. That's how we need to find it out, how I'm thinking it. And as you found the soul and this and that, which is you think it, it's good. This part is important. Yeah, again, one more time I'm repeating. Instead of directly meditating on selflessness, take your time for find it out which self, how I think the self, what is the wrong view, would I have it, which object of negated. That's the first we have to think it out. Okay. And the briefly, the earlier, I mean, the previous I explained it, that we think the self, I, is, which is enjoying this body and mind, controlling this body and mind, owner of this body and mind. That's how we think. This I is owner of my body and mind. Therefore say my body, my mind, my hand, my leg, my and mind, my. Because as you think that, how you think my house, when you think my house, isn't that the person who are using it, it's separate than person. The house, which is separate than person, the person who is enjoying this house, who is enjoying using this house, who is taking care of this house, who are worrying about this house, it's separate than house, right? Therefore, say when you say my house, how you making, how you thinking distinction between house and yourself. Same way, when you say my body, my mind, or my hand, my leg, my soul, again, it's talks my soul, right? So, and so it should be same that we are thinking separate. I is separate than soul, I is separate than body, I is separate than mind, I is separate than every single part that we have right now here. Therefore, we say my body, my soul, my mind, as thinking my hand, my house, my car, right? That's the saying wrong view. You can say my house, yes, it's totally separate than you. You can say my car, yes, as you say my car is totally separate than you. It's nothing related. I mean, like, and related means that car is not you, right? When you say my car, is totally something there beside me, beside I. My house, something there beside me, beside I, right? So same way, that's the same way we're thinking when we say my body, but that goes wrong. You cannot think when you say my body and my mind, my soul, as you're thinking my car and my like a car in my house as exactly separate than yourself, then it goes wrong. You can think with house, you can think with the car, you can think with anything that you belongs externally. But here, the body and mind, if you think that way, same, it's totally separate, that is goes wrong. And this is how we're thinking it. That's why I asked you to find it out how you're thinking. This is how we're thinking it. When say my body, isn't you think that some I there who's using this body, who's controlling this body, who's enjoying this body, then sometimes you're thinking the I is totally separate than body. Whether you recognize or not, this is the thought you are thinking separate. But when you say, when you have a headache, when you have a stomach pain, then you're saying, I having attack, I'm pain, I having pain. So that time, your thought, head and stomach is totally unit with the I. Because say, you are not saying, my head is having pain. When you say, I having pain, actually you are having a headache, then you're saying, I having pain. At that moment, your thought is head and yourself is totally unit. Not what's that? United, right? Or non-dualistic. That's how we think. Both are wrong. The both are wrong. See, did you ever find these things when you reflected? See, it's in our head. This wrong thought is not outside there. It's in my head. I should find it out. That's which is still in my head, right? So still there, still there. The wrong view of I and wrong view of self. Okay.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, we should more discussion on that. That's the more help you understand better.
So in the analogy of the house and you and your house, then what would the conventional I be in that analogy?
What's that? Right now, we are not making difference between conventional I and ultimate I or wrong view. In general, we are finding the object of negation. But you are one side of mind, always think you are not refuting or not rejecting the every single eyes, or you think, oh, I'm only rejecting what the wrong view. That's help you even you're not thinking separately which things exist, which eyes exist conventionally. It will remaining because you are removing exactly what you're removing. Otherwise, you are removing that general I, then it goes wrong. Therefore saying important to find it out how you're identifying I. That's the only negating. Once you negate it, that general, how you identified in mentally, how you identified I, once you remove or when you're rejecting that, and you are rejecting exactly clearly what should it. So even you are not thinking separately which eyes exist, so you don't have to worry. It will be automatically it's remaining there because you are negating. You are not taking out all these people from your house. You are only the like a difficulty people in your house who causing problem. That's the only taking out. So when you say people take out from your house or take a kick out, what's it? Kick them out. When you say people kick them from your house, then you should know which people should kick them from your house, right? If you kick them all from your house, it goes wrong. You are kicking out exactly who's the troublemaker. That's the perfect then.
Because at some point this is in some ways kind of scary to think about because we're used to this self and kind of we've made friends or it gives us some sort of, well, we think it gives us some sort of grounding. So the idea of thinking about this is kind of scary. So I think it helps to know that the conventional self will still be there if we're removing exactly what we need to by knowing what to refute.
Mm-hmm.
That was just a comment. So I meant to say thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Geshe,
Yeah.
hi, sorry, I hope I didn't interrupt anyone. I had a thought. So I was trying to understand object of negation. And so this thought of attachment came into my head. So what you're saying is if you think about a person saying, oh, that's my car or that's my computer, that attachment, there doesn't really exist because the computer is a piece of matter. Myself, my body and my mind are matter. They're totally separate matter, totally separate, made of totally separate atoms, right? So there is no relationship between this matter and that matter.
Mm-hmm.
And until you think, oh, I'm attached to this laptop is mine, so this computer is mine. So that attachment, that's the I. The I, which is the object of negation, is the one that thinks I'm attached to this computer, right?
Okay. So the whenever we say the my computer, it's not necessary actually have to be attached on things. As you say, it's totally two different things. But you will say the my laptop, whether you have attachment or not. You cannot take another laptop. You will not take another laptop as independently. Whichever laptop is in front of you, you will not take that. You will only take laptop which belongs to you. Why? Even you don't have an attachment. You will not touch to another the laptop, right? You will only touch to laptop which belongs to you. So it's my laptop. But it's totally, what I'm giving this example for is, yes, when you say my laptop, that laptop is there and I is here, totally two separate things. As you said, this is how we taking example. Totally two separate things. But if you think with your body and mind, when you're looking I as like a totally two separate things, that goes wrong view. that as we can think external things, that same thought we cannot bring it to the between I and what we call designations and object of designations. So you because I and then body and mind, you cannot think that way as laptop and I, totally separate two things, right? So if totally two separate things, as you're thinking like laptop and I, then you have to find it out without body and mind, without any part of these things. You have to find it out. That's the one problem. We are not finding it without this five aggregate. Generally, we say these things here, body and mind. A brief way we say body and mind. If we use the philosophy term, is all these things are included in 5 heaps. Therefore, we keep saying 5 heaps. There are 5 heaps, right? So without 5 heaps, without the body, without the mind, without the feeling, without the discrimination, without the consciousness, you have to find it out the I, as you are finding laptop. Without you, without other, laptop is there. So as same, if you found the I without all these 5 aggregate, that should be separate, but we are not finding this, then thinking it's separate is wrong view, because it's not true. It's not real, because you're not finding it. Right? That's the I try to give example for it. It's clear?
Yeshua, I'm getting really confused now, but when you
This is
think
good.
about the 5
Confusing is good.
Yeah.
Making clear, right? Yeah.
Right. So, when I think about the 5 aggregates, I think that's what composes me. That's me, my aggregates. Is that not true?
No, not true.
Not true.
Yeah. Because giving logic, we are using the reasoning, right? The 5 aggregate is me. Yeah. When your body is burned, are you burning? When your body is like a cremating or like a putting the earth, you go to next life, right?
Yeah.
It's clear that definitely my form heap, the form body is not me. It's very clear, right?
Yes. Yes.
So then that's the one things help you to cannot think all 5 aggregates me. Same way you go with the feeling and one by one, you will find the same way. It's not the me, exactly not the sameness. It's not the one.
Okay.
It's wrong, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, a little bit go back to what the Jackie earlier said, that scare. That's very true. So, but if you found it exactly the object of negation, it saved you to not the scare. You are scaring because you are rejecting everything, which is exit, non-exit, everything. That calls you a scare, right? So therefore, see, usually we say how difficult selflessness and emptiness, that's the part is. It's not the symbol. Oh, yes, Janet?
Okay, so this whole conversation is reminding me of an article. That's something you read in a magazine, right? And this was the National Geographic magazine, probably 20 years ago, that so fascinated me. It was about the brain, and it told the story of a woman who had been in a very bad car accident, and she hit her head very hard against the window of the car. And when she came awake, she had no memory. She didn't know her daughter. She didn't recognize her daughter. She didn't know she even had a daughter. She didn't know her husband. She had been previously working in a really formal business, always wore very, business formal clothes. And then when she came out of her coma and had no memory of anything, she liked really pretty flowery dresses. Everything she liked was different. She didn't know anybody, but she was the same body, same environment. And this is making me wonder in that, is there some way to think about this self when something like that happens? Where is the self in that experience?
Yeah, Janet, thank you. I think it's really help us if you think memory is self. That's to help us. The part of that memory is self. Then, as she lost all this memory, not remember everything, right? As the Janet?
She remembered nothing.
She remembered nothing. Therefore, she don't have she lost kind of memory, right?
Everything. She didn't even know how to speak or use a credit card. I mean, she didn't know how to do anything.
But when we put in front of her like a food, she ate it?
The article didn't say that.
Okay.
Right?
Okay. So that like a Alzheimer's, you can take example same as like Alzheimer's, right? So,
And I just said, okay.
Okay, yeah. So the each consciousness, you think it's mine is I, then this is I, my feeling is I, this and I, this that. This is one help us. The memory is not the self. Memory is not the I. Because the people still exist, taking breath, eating, drinking, without memory. Still John or Mary exist, but no memory. Therefore, memory is not I. That's help us to part of that. Okay.
There's no self. Memory is not the self. The body is not the self. Nothing. So where is the self in that lady's experience? Where is there a self?
Where is the self? That is exactly how we think self is independent, right?
So,
this is very helpful. This is exactly how we think self-independent, because body is not, this is not, this is not, and then where is it? We are looking some kind of solid.
And it's not memory.
That's the wrong view, yeah.
So where is it? As I keep asking.
That's the wrong view. Now, like as you strongly think back, where is self? When you think that, where is self, right? You reflect it again on that. You reflect it again on that. When you think, where is self? At the moment, how you strong think the self?
I don't know. I'm thinking about herself, and when I read this 20 years ago, I was so.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's even still you are looking herself, right?
I'm thinking, how is that possible that everything was so different about her, that she didn't like the same things she used to like, and she liked things.
No, this is actually the different separate part.
It is? Okay.
Yeah, this is separate part what we do. Right now, what you mentioned is her memory is not the self, body is not the self, this and this not the self. Where is yourself? That question, I'm going back with this question.
Okay, and her personality is not herself. So there really is no.
Yeah, personality is not self.
There isn't any.
Sorry.
Then there's no self then. Because
yeah, see, therefore, until we not found the self, we are not really comfortable, right? It's very uncomfortable. It's very what do we say? We lost something, or what we call?
You feel
not
like
feel good.
I don't know, but maybe because of that, it makes you very free. Because when you think yourself is a certain way, then you limit yourself. And if you think differently, you realize that you can actually be much more free in your life without thinking, oh, I am this.
Uh-huh.
I don't think it's so scary. I think it's
Okay. That's good. That's good. But okay, Jen, how you think to her? Now you go back to think yourself. If your memory is not the self, your body is not the self, you are this and this not the self, and then you still might think, now where is self? You know, you are really looking to self to find it out, or something you can point it.
If I can't remember it, I'm not going to miss it. I won't care.
Janet.
Yes.
Exactly think that why I'm asking you.
Okay.
The same, her memory is not the herself, right?
Right.
Then this goes with all of us. Our memory is not I. My memory is not me.
Right.
Because same reason.
Yeah.
Therefore, your memory is not you, your body is not you, all these 5 hips are not you.
Right.
Thinking, when you think that way, it's this is not, then we still very much looking that self have to find it out. Whatever, what is this? I have to point it. I want to, someone point me, this is self. You know, we are very much looking and like
investigating,
comprehending that kind of find it out, which really someone helped me to point it out, right?
Well,
the
yeah.
self. That thought, one of the part that we are looking independent self.
Okay, so Geshe, when we are studying and we are practicing, one of the things we are aware that we're doing is we are creating imprints for future life, right? We want to use our Dharma study in this life to help plant seeds for our future life. So if it's not memory, where are those seeds going?
The question remaining same. You different way to ask it.
No,
you're still looking self, who goes to next life.
No, if it's not a self, what is it? What is it?
You're still looking self, right?
No.
You're still looking self.
No.
Where is it? Okay.
Whatever it is, that's not a self that we're putting seeds into.
No, what I want you to think back, when I said it's wrong view, then you want to reflect it is wrong view or not. When I say you are, not just you are talking right now, all of us. When we say this is not self, this is not self, the final question, every one of you or everyone, they have final question, then where is self? Everyone has this question. Everyone have it.
So Geshe, if like you said to Jackie, you want to know who you're kicking out of the house, right?
Yes.
So who stays? What stays? That you don't.
That's the exactly thought. You're looking independent self. You're looking some kind of the solid self, which you want to point it out, that have to be kicked out.
So does anything remain?
See, still you're looking.
No, I'm
If anything is remaining, they're still looking self.
Why don't you say kick everything out? You say kick the right things out. Don't.
Why? Actually, that's the way beginning is. Why you are looking, who is remaining, which is remaining, instead of which have to negate it. I want you focus more on what have to negate it, instead of which is remaining. That will help.
Geshe.
Yes. Yes.
Geshe. So I guess that's the reason why I was trying to look for another way, like a baby step, to the selflessness.
Mhm.
So is it incorrect in a baby step to think of ourselves as partless particles, moving matter, like just as a baby step between here and understanding?
Yes, you can think. Definitely, you can think as a baby step, and then whatever you have to find it, you are finding, you have to rethink it again. Make sure it is right or wrong. That's how we need to move forward. But just thinking by yourself is very good. Someone with you discussion. Now I'm thinking this. Is this I? Then someone said no. Why? And giving reason until you make sense. Ask question. Ask question. Then once you make sense, then okay. Now I'm clear. This is not the I. Now your baby step moving next. Oh, now I'm thinking this is I. Is this? Then someone say yes or no. If say no, then why? Always ask question after that why. If say yes, why? If they say no, why? Right? So that's how we need to go, baby step.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So do not decide it by yourself until you are very great knowledgeable about this emptiness and Buddhism. Then you can decide some way. If not, if you really want to go baby step, you analyze it, you think it, but not finalize it. Before you finalize it, you discussion with the Dharma friend, you just read the book, listen the teaching, make sure, and then finalize it, right? So, okay. So again, one more time repeating, I really want you reflecting on, focus on the object which is negating it. And then leave it the rest of other things. Don't think which is like remaining or not remaining. So will not make you any problem. That's okay. Just as like I say, one things as well, looking very solid eye, which we have to see it. Very much seeking that we have to see it, we have to understand it. That's the goes wrong way, wrong view. And another things, my body, and when say my body and my mind, you are thinking I is honor of body and mind. That's his wrong view. Until you think I is honor of body and mind means things are body and mind there, I is here, who is controlling or enjoying. It's two separate things here. That's the wrong view. That's this object of negation. That's the self, which is object of negations. Thinking that I is controlling all this what I have it. I is honor of all this I have. All I is king. And then all this body part are the servant. That's how we think between I and 5 hip. Right? So are you thinking this or not? Once you rethink it again and find it out, are you thinking that way exactly or not? Some kind of I is honor, king, controller, 2 5 hip, as like a computer and I. Are you thinking this or not? When say my body, my mind.
Geshe, I have a question. Maybe it's a dumb question, but can you explain again what you mean by object of negation?
Object of negation. Object of negation is that wrong view. That's what we are looking now, which is wrong view. Therefore, I suggest and request to you, think how you thinking yourself as I. And top of that, I give example, yes, we are thinking, I am thinking, you are thinking that I is owner of body and mind. I is controller, body and mind, which is separate. That's the wrong view. We should negate it. We should change this thought. We shouldn't think that. It's wrong. It's I is not controlling body and mind. I is not controller body and mind. If I is controller body and mind, I is owner of body and mind, then I should be totally separate than body and mind. Nothing related, as like a computer and yourself.
So then, if I understand you correctly, when you say object of negation, you mean that when we find an I that we can identify, then we should negate that.
Yes. Yes. So, but I want you really think that how you identifying I naturally, which every being has equally, innate one. It's not the, so far what we're explaining, it's not the innate, it's imputed. It's influenced by philosophy, it's influenced by Buddhists, it's influenced by what you read the book, it's influenced by who teach to you. You know, that's the more imputed. The innately, what we have it, how we identify. When I born until right now, you pretended I don't have any knowledge, I don't hear anything, and then think usually how I identifying myself. So that's really wanted. Okay, I think today also takes time for object of negation. That should be because once you found the object of negation clearly, that's really help you understand selflessness. Otherwise, your selflessness is just saying it, but not helping in daily life. There are many of them saying, okay, please, can you explain me the selflessness? They will explain very detailed reasoning, but whoever who explaining emptiness and selflessness with the very detailed, but same, they have a same ego, same angry, same attachment, same problem, same suffering, then we must accept they explain emptiness, but they don't know emptiness. How we say? They knows, but really don't know, right? So they know how to explain it. They know how to give the details. They know how to give the example it, but they don't know inside. Therefore, not help us to removing this whole problem. So
how do we know? Because sometimes people pretend, don't they? Don't like some high lamas pretend that they still have issues, so we think that they're less than they are?
That's true, but so far, what I'm going to say is we don't have to worry about that. This is just giving you example. Is two, you shouldn't think that way, or giving you example when you are looking emptiness and object of negation, more inside look at it instead of intellectually, more inside look at it instead of you are relying on what you're learning, what you learn, that philosophy and so on and so on, word by word. You are relying on word by word. Okay, this text said that it must be this one. That says you are not analyzing your naturally, or you are not looking what your natural thought is. So that's I try to give you example, or all of you giving example, that when you look at natural way and natural thought, that's how we would find it out. And then I give you one example. The natural thought is honor and king and controller. That's how we think. That's naturally every single sentient being. So
That's actually very helpful, Geshe. Thank you.
Yeah, I think that is.
okay.
You know, Bob Thurman does a very funny teaching, and it's almost exactly like what you're saying. You know, like he said, he intellectualized it and tells somebody, hits his car in the parking lot. And then he said, I'm Bob, and that's my car. So you're absolutely right. It's for us to study inside. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so again, take your time. Who found the soul, and some have a very like a good answer for that. It's but continues reflecting on that. I give you some idea in generally how we thinking, how we identifying I. As again, I'm repeating here to say controller, honor, king, something like that. Independent. Okay, use those words now. Do you think yourself is independent or not? Okay, then I'm thinking here. Yeah, I'm thinking independent because it's nothing depend on body, nothing depend on mind. How you know that? Because I'm thinking self, I is using body. As using body shouldn't be rely on body. Right? Without body, the I should be there. Without mind, I should be there because it's using it. It's enjoying with the body and mind. Therefore, it's not really depending on body and mind. It's using it. It totally is two separate. That's how we think. Therefore, I'm thinking I is independent. Okay, that's a wrong view. And then think, am I thinking I and myself is who controlling the body and mind, who honor body and mind? If so, the honor, what means honor? And you go back to think the things who belongs and which object belongs, the relation between these two, as say my house and my car and my laptop. That you think relation between these two, how relation that are. So then when I think myself is honor of the body and mind, I should be same relation, or should be think that a same relation how I'm thinking my car and my house. If so, then it goes more separate than body and mind. Without house, I exist. Without car, I exist. Without laptop, I there. Without body, I should be there. Without mind and all this part of the body and mind, I should be there because that's the same way I'm thinking. Is this true or not? These are the example giving you some idea how you begin to think or how you think it, okay? Okay.
One more question.
Okay. Uh-huh.
Does this at all have any relationship to dependent arising?
Judy, I think breaking your
Yeah.
mouse. Yeah.
Oh,
Say it again.
you didn't hear me?
It's kind of like
Yeah.
breaking your
Does-
vows.
Breaking your vows.
Wise.
Is that what you said?
Wise. Breaking her.
Judy, she didn't, he said,
Well, yeah, well, your voice is breaking, not the vows. Sorry
Okay.
for that. Sorry for that.
Okay. Okay. It's okay. It's okay.
You can write it.
Right. I'm asking.
You can
Our
type.
reflection. Would it
Judy, it's still
Write
the
it?
same. I cannot hear you clear.
I can.
Yeah, what help is you can type it, you can write to me, then I can read it, right, and try to make sense for that. Okay, while Judy is reading,
Okay,
writing,
I'll do that.
so anyone has any question?
If nobody else has a question, can I ask another question?
Definitely.
Okay, so a couple more questions about, like, when Dr. Ladner was teaching about something separate, very separate subject, but he was teaching us about karma.
Mm-hmm.
The takeaway was like that life is like a dream. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other thought is that we should not, when we are thinking about something, we should not concretize, make solid our thoughts, because they are impermanent and they do kind of flow. This idea that they are like clouds.
Mm-hmm.
We have been taught that in class. So there is this ephemeral quality to what we are aspiring to. And so this teaching about the selfless self, and also impermanence, and also the quantum physics of moving matter and partless particles, that things are not solid. Can we think about, can we meditate? Would it be correct to meditate on the self almost like mesh instead of a solid self? You know, like a screen in your window? It's the air goes through it. It's not solid. So can we maybe meditate about the selfless self as like a more like mesh instead of something solid?
Okay.
Could that be another baby step? I guess that's my question.
Okay.
Could that be another baby step? Okay, I'm gonna mute myself.
Okay. What I'm going to say, yes, the mesh is not the solid, but still the mesh is something.
Okay.
So you're holding something, but it's not solid as you think, but you still want to hold something. It's we call grasping, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's a grasping, self-grasping.
Okay, thank you. That was still incorrect. Okay.
So, okay. You know, one thing, you guys are lucky. There are many different instructors, many different way to talk. You know, that is wonderful, that's beautiful. And then always try to test it, each instruction, not just one time, two times, maybe few months, maybe at least 1 month. Test it, try it. And then sometime it depends on your capacity. That instead of this instruction, you might, another instruction might help better you, or this instruction help you better you. This is wonderful. You have a lot of option. How you are lucky. But if you're not meditating and reflecting, then you are wasting your lucky. You are wasting your opportunity, right? That's the only you can do it. Okay. Let me see. Okay, Judy. Would it help us to consider dependent arising when looking at the object on negation? When you think dependent arising, it's more help you to understand selflessness itself, emptiness itself. When we look at object of negation, we are looking solid one, how we think the solid one. And if you apply dependent arising, it will be confuse you. Because nature, wrong view, that's we're looking, okay? We're looking wrong view. We are looking, when we say object of negation, it should be wrong view, right? when we looking wrong view, is you depend, apply the dependent arising logic here, makes you confused. Therefore, natural way, natural thought. That's what we have to get it. Okay. Natural way, natural thought. Yeah. So because you not try to look at what is right one, because we are looking wrong one. You have to find it out the wrong one. So as I ask you, find it the wrong one. If you're looking what is the right one, you go the wrong direction then. You go another directions. So therefore, all of you, just I'm asking, we are looking wrong one, find it out which is wrong one. That is really help you to find it out your natural thought, natural identified of I. So, and then remember it, I give you some idea to think. Use that idea and then go slowly, slowly, find it out your own way. Am I thinking this or not? Or you are confirmed that idea is right. As thinking independent, as thinking honor, as thinking like a king, as thinking controller. So is this right or wrong? That's one way you can analyze, or use that idea and you really find it from your inside, how I'm looking, how I identify myself as wrong. Okay, we are looking wrong one, try not find the right one. Okay, you should find the wrong one.
So will the right one just appear when we've gotten rid of the wrong one then?
That's the next step. That's next step. It comes later. But really you have to find out the wrong one, then what are we going to do with the wrong one? That's the next step.
Yeah, I'm just planning for the future. Thank you.
Okay, okay.
Hello, Geshe.
Uh-huh.
I have a question about children. Like,
sure.
Okay, so their capacity as a child, are they also thinking what they're doing, you know, negating the object, what is it called?
Object of negation.
The object of negation. Is a child more natural way of thinking as we get older with more and more learning and conforming to ideas? Is a child's more natural in their self?
Yes, the part of object of negation, we still child. We still thinking same as like a child thinking. We still thinking same as like an animal thinking. Nothing changed. Yes, of course we learn more. We learn more what is this and that. But innately, naturally, we hold it that wrong view, exactly how child's thinking. But the one difference is we cannot teach the child, find it out your thought. But we can do for you, find it out your thought. This is the only difference.
Okay.
Right?
I understand, yes.
Yeah, but exactly same.
Guided.
Exactly
that
same.
example. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you. Okay.
So what's our homework then? Are we going to talk about this next week too?
Yeah. Yes.
So our homework is to find
So I prefer all this logic rejecting or negating this our thought, but what comes next, still we have to find it out the object of negation. Try exactly think, okay? Not, as I said, with looking wrong things, wrong one, and then what happened next? This is next. Put it, leave it the next is next. So as also Janet also looking. Then what is self? You know, this is one good things to understand. Oh yeah, how much I'm grasping to looking self. that much I'm thinking self should be solid or self should be something there. That's how I'm looking. This is also, you can use the idea to understand the wrong self, wrong view. How much you're looking, that expression, right? How much you're looking. It's a little bit different than what I give you earlier, the example are. But this is one also help us. We are really looking until we're not found the self, then we might give up to do all this practice. All right? So that kind of, you are really grasping to looking, or like a grasp, like a comprehending for seeing that kind of self is, you're towards more like a solid self, which is wrong one, right? If it's convenient or it's easy for you, you can use also this idea for finding out the wrong self. Otherwise, what I earlier mentioned, that's use that method and find it out your own way, or conform it is, but not intellectually. Reflect, you feel it. Oh yeah, it is really, I'm thinking that way. Yeah, that's how I need to conform by yourself to insight. But you know that how to make difference between intellectually and inside feeling, right? That's try it.
Sorry, one last thing. So where does, in terms of all this, where does the ego, because sometimes I think ego is self, is that anything real?
Where is ego? Everywhere.
Thank you.
Sometimes I think ego is self. Is that anything true?
Ego is self, then memory should be self. And then you have to say who has a less ego, then you might say less self. Who have a strong ego, you might say like big self. You know, self is not changing to big, to less, less to more, but ego always change more and less, more and less. But if ego is self, then self should be more and less, more and less. Right? It's difficult to judge that self is more and less. Okay. Okay. So now the last, one more time repeating. Think exactly what requirement. And beside that, don't think any which is related with it. Example, we are looking one wrong self. And how about the right self? How about the conventional self? That's, you are not exactly doing meditations. You are not following exactly what should reflect it, right? Okay, so only wrong self, your natural thought, natural way. What I give you example is how you reflected on that. Okay. So, I whatever here many times, 100 times saying is, I think still you might be associated, you are some kind of different, you know, oh yeah, if this not, then what is that? If this not, then what is that? No, you are not looking what is that in this, okay? You're looking what is object of negation. Only that. What is object of negation? Beside that, you are not thinking selflessness, you are not thinking emptiness, you are not thinking bodhicitta, you are not thinking what's conventional self, you are not thinking at all. You're only thinking, which is the object of negation. The general, what means your natural identifying I and myself. How you naturally, which animal, which children, which baby has same equal, we all have same. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Geshe.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, have a good day.
You can't erase
Thank
it if
you.
you don't